And welcome back to the New York Giants franchise rebuild. Here today, we have another offseason, the second offseason in this franchise. Very excited to get into today's episode. I hope you guys are too. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I hope you're all having a great day. Please leave a like, comment down below what you thought of today's action, and don't forget to subscribe. Well, the New York Giants are coming off of a kind of a disappointing way to end the season. They lost in the wild card round to the Carolina Panthers, 28, 20, something like that. Yeah, 28-20. We had chances to win in this ball game, and we just could not execute. 2 interceptions by John Sherman didn't help. No ground game. Neighbors produced. John Ware as well, but you know, the offensive line struggled on our side, especially the left side of the line, and the defense just couldn't make enough plays to do so. The, 2 turnovers really hurt us. And we see our divisional rivals, the Philadelphia Eagles, winning the Super Bowl. So now we have to contend versus them. So, to anyone out here who's new and has yet to see any of my content or any sort of my off seasons, I typically like to keep things as realistic as possible. I try not to bend. Sometimes I do. It's subjective in my eyes. But I like to go through position by position, player by player, and then we'll get into the re-signing, the free agency itself, and then the overall draft, and then we'll wrap up today's action. So that's the game plan for today. So let's just start off here with a little bit of housekeeping. Let's start here with the Mock 4 draft. I haven't really talked too much about the draft. It's something I need to kind of incorporate more with my videos. Let me know down below what you guys think, how I should do that. Should I make a separate video? Because I talk a lot. So let me know down below what you guys think. But a wide receiver is projected to go first overall, and the Patriots are expected to draft another pass rusher. See, a quarterback could go early on to the LA Rams, but we're currently picking at 20 here. They're saying for us to take Heath Bass here. I don't know much about Heath, but he looks like a solid tackle prospect. Great to good strength, so that's solid. And his attributes look good. The injuries is really the only concern that I have. I don't know if I'm taking him in the first round. There's a couple other players that I prefer, but we'll get into that a little bit later. But just wanted to show you guys the Mock 4 draft. Let's check out some retirements in around the league. So Cameron Hayworth, he retires. Geno Smith, ex-Giant. Derrick Henry, Matthew Stafford as well. Tyrone Smith. Brandon Graham and Garrett Bowles from our team both retired. 2 free agent acquisitions from a year ago. So that puts a hole at tackle. We see Lane Johnson, DeMarcus Lawrence as well, Keenan Allen, and then a few other players. Here's a couple more Giants in Justin Pugh and Jonathan Hankins, 2 solid players. And here comes OBJ also retiring from the league. So, and Blake Martinez. So a good amount of ex-Giants. So before we sim to the next week, I'm gonna bring up the salary tab and let's go through player by player and kind of the direction I want to take this second offseason to be. Let's start off easy here with the quarterback position. John Sherman, going to go into his second season, a 79 overall, ranked 20th out of all the quarterbacks currently in the league. And I think he's our guy moving forward. I know he did not get an upgrade. He's still normal development, but he's much better than any other option that we potentially could get him. Now, some of you might be wondering, we still have Daniel Jones on this team. Do we look? Why? And that's due to the fact that his contract would really hurt us a lot financially. Especially a season ago, it would have really killed any of our hopes and dreams. But we could cut Daniel Jones to free up $11 million and just not have 47 in the bank. But so with that being said, Daniel and the decision on cutting him or not is right now is a wait and see, I would say. Daniel is a fine backup quarterback. I'm okay with not going into this up and coming offseason with a ton of money, and having Daniel as the backup, we know how good he can be in this system, which is not great, but we know that he can handle it, and especially with hopefully another offseason adding talent. So I don't think we're going to do anything here with Daniel Jones. It's still, though, a wait and see. Maybe in the free agency, I do look to move off of Daniel. Let's now switch over here to the running back position, where, we went with 4 guys. Tank Bigsby is the guy that we had on our practice squad. So we do have another young, capable runner. He's a 75 overall back, so he becomes actually our second highest behind Singletary. Some other note here, James Conner here, who had a good season. He added spark to the offense. Well, he's dropped, though, by 11, 12 points. So I don't expect myself to bring back Conner. I do think that we need to potentially address the running back position. Tyrone Tracy got injured, and then he started falling off. Eric Gray, he struggled throughout the year. Singletary was on IR for most of the season. And Frank Gore Jr. is a solid runner, but he's nothing special. I do think running back at this up-and-coming offseason might be a position that we do look to upgrade. Because right now, I do think we need another back. Singletary, I potentially could look to trade. Eric Gray, I not expect myself to keep him. So, and I don't know how good Tank Bigsby can be. So, with Gore and Tracy would basically be our 1-2 punch at running back, I'm not in love with that. So, running back is definitely something to keep an eye out for this up-and-coming offseason. The only reason I wouldn't pursue to move off of Singletary is because of the penalty, but who knows just yet. He's still a capable runner. He's still, the 27th ranked running back in the league. Still has he's solid around the board, so maybe he becomes our true third back, but I want to find a bell cow, personally. Flipping it over now to the receiver position, fullback is set. We drafted someone. Well, we know that Malik Neighbors is a number 1 receiver. He's just coming off of a season where he's now progressed to X Factor. He is also coming off a season where he led the league in receiving yards. And he's been a 1,000-yard receiver his first 2 seasons. There's no need to consider replacing him as our number 1 guy. It's just now behind him is really a question. What do we do with Wan'Dale Robinson? Coming off a 10-plus touchdown season, 80 overall, slot archetype, but the argument could easily be made, both due to his development, but also due to the fact that he's on a cheap deal, is John Ware, who we just drafted, who honestly is a little bit of a better athlete than Wan'Dale, but is just needs to be polished up more, and due to the fact that he has X Factor, I think he could handle it. So that is one argument not to keep Wan'Dale Robinson. I don't know just yet what I want to do here at receiver. I'm leaning towards trying to re-sign him because I just don't think that Jalen Hyatt moving forward can be a guy. Hyatt, in my opinion, we should look to trade, maybe try to get a 3rd-round pick back from him. He's an 80 overall receiver. He would be a below number 2 wideout. So a team definitely could use Hyatt in my eyes. When we go to the bottom of the roster, Trey Tucker was also in our practice squad, so he could potentially be a solid 4th receiver for us. But then back here, Nelson Aguilar, we won't look to bring back. Tony Royal here, who didn't get a much playing time as a receiver, but a lot as a kick returner. And he did a great job. He scored twice for us. I literally have never done that. Went over 1,000 yards I do think Royal as a returnman should be kind of important to try to keep him on the roster. But do keep an eye out what I will do here with receiver, because, you know, I do want to find another weapon in this offseason. Turn it over here to the tight end position, Bellinger and Tommy Tremble. I like Bellinger a lot. He was a solid tight end for us. 25 years old, good short route running. He can kind of block. I do like Bellinger. I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep him. But tight end, we will need to add some depth. And due to the fact that Theo Johnson dealt with a lot of injuries this past season, I'm also considering trying to find an upgrade at tight end. So this becomes, I have basically 3 top needs. This is my, out of all the top needs, is my third. Doesn't mean that I won't prioritize it, but it's the third, and that's getting another offensive weapon. You know, going into this season, I said Tracy and Gore would be, in my eyes, my 1-2 running back, and we've seen the results. It's average, in my opinion. You know, if we can't keep Robinson, then, you know, we need to find someone, because I don't trust Hyatt. And I don't think that Tucker is truly ready to be a third receiver. I think we would kind of be shooting ourselves in the foot, throwing out Tucker and John Ware. So Wandale is an important player to bring back, but also do I want to add another talented receiver, because we also know that Ware, Robinson, and Neighbors isn't this, you know, Robinson can score touchdowns and Ware can make sometimes a big play, but I don't know how good he can become on an outside receiver. So that's a question for me. I think Wandale could handle it. Yeah, I think Wandale could handle it a little bit better because of his route running ability. So I don't know just yet. And then of course tight end with Theo Johnson. I just don't trust his health right now. He missed a lot of this season. When I say a lot, I think 7 games. He played in 12, so he missed 5 weeks. And in those 5 weeks, he produced solidly. Needs to be better, in my opinion. Now turning our focus here to the offensive line, Andrew Thomas, great beginning of the season, could not end more badly. Thomas is fine as I'm not going to look to replace Andrew Thomas, so let's move on here. But I need him to play better. John Runyon here is another player that I could consider moving off of. We would save $7 million, so this is kind of maybe a good quick option to get some more money, but Runyon is still a solid depth piece, and I'm not looking to kind of replace that, though his run blocking is not good at all. Yeah, John Runyon might actually be traded after seeing those ratings go down. Regardless, I do think offensive line is important, and with now the retirement of Garrett Bowles, we need to figure something out. Evan Neal, all of this past season, played at guard. He played a couple games at tackle, and I view him more as a guard than a tackle at this point in time. So this is the second of our third big needs, and that's getting another offensive lineman like a Garrett Bowles. Maybe 2. The other position would be upgrading the left guard position in John Runyon. I don't think that Anthony Branford is ready to start anytime soon. I think he's more of a borderline backup, could also be traded just because of his age and his development. And then in terms of the center position, I know Simon Oliver is a higher overall, but I think that John Michael Schmidt played better than him. And it kind of leads me to kind of lean towards Schmidt for his last season with us. And that could mean Oliver plays again at guard. He did play a little bit this season, so who knows. But this offensive line was the first pillar to fall of why we didn't have a good season. Garrett Bowles, who's retired now, he got injured, which forced me to play Neal at tackle, forced me to play Anthony Branford at guard, And then at center, I decided to make the move to Isaiah Oliver, and that was the start of the end for this season for us. So I need to figure out a way to improve this offensive line. Switching over here to the defense, Kayvon Thibodeau. We have Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, Elijah Chapman, and Leonard Snap. Hey, we have 5 quality starting defensive linemen. I'm not looking to upgrade over any of them, but I am looking to get quality depth behind them. I don't think that Jordan Ridley and Ika here are good enough. These guys probably will get cut just to save close to $2 million. But players like Boogie Basham, another player in Nolan Smith, who are both expected to hit the market, I would like to bring one or both of them back. Maybe lean towards Nolan Smith due to his athletic ability and age, but Boogie Basham has been he's been on the team for the first 2 seasons and he's produced when he's been out there, so I don't know just yet. Or do we look to go in a totally different direction? We dealt with a lot of injuries here. Sapp and Chapman miss a lot of time, so I need to find a good 4th defensive tackle. In terms of the linebacker position, we need a left outside linebacker, but Micah McFadden was signed to a 4-year extension, so I think we're solid at our 1-2 linebackers here, and with also Okereke, who, yes, is 30 years old. Last year on his deal, he did regress, some in coverage, some in awareness, but nothing too drastic here. I think he's still a quality linebacker for us. And we also have Isaiah Simmons still. So I do think that we have some quality linebacker depth. I would like some more entering into this offseason. And now here comes the biggest need, in my opinion, for this Giant squad, and that's getting a true number 1 corner. Devontae Banks struggled throughout this season. I know he's our highest overall corner, but that's mostly due to his athletic ability and he has not been playing like a top-tier athlete. So Banks is another player that I potentially might trade today. Drew Phillips, in my opinion, has become our number 1 corner. And then Mike Hilton was a solid band-aid, but we need to get a better corner 1. But we also need to figure out the 4th corner, and Cordell Flop also expected to hit free agency. I don't know if I can bring him back regardless. So the number 1 corner, and maybe even the number 3 if I move off of Banks, is our biggest need this offseason. In terms of the safety position, just want to get quality depth. I do like Lewis Seen. Dane Belton here will probably let go. Jason Pinnock will probably let also test, so we'll figure it out. And for any of you who saw last episode, Tyler Nubin, I've never seen this before. Nubin at the age of 25, entering into year 3, both regressed but also got a new development into superstar. So some of you might be wondering, am I going to change this? No. I do think that this makes a lot of sense. The perfect example is Landon Collins, who came off a 2016 year where he produced greatly, and then he kind of started to fall off. And I'm not saying that that's going to happen to Tyler Nubin here, but I do think that this can happen to a young player, so I'm not going to touch this at all. I think it's stupid, but hey, I'm not going to touch it. So that's the safety position. Kicker, I would like to upgrade over Riley Patterson. I'm just terrible at kicks. And then Ryan Stonehouse. He's affordable. He's an excellent punter, or good at punting, kind of. And he's the 2nd best punter in the league. So I'm not looking to improve at least that specialist. So yeah, guys, we went through our biggest needs. We talked about everyone. We hit all my talking points, so let's sim now to the next week. Now let's make some decisions here. Well, we have $36 million and Devontae Banks' 5th-year option. Nope, I am not picking this up. That is not worth it in my eyes. Now Wan'Dale Robinson, who had interest in coming back to us, but now does not have any interest due to there's no mentor on the team and we don't have a winning record. So now the Wan'Dale Robinson contract becomes more difficult and more expensive as we don't have a lot of money and $36 million, and I have a lot of other needs. Oh man. Cordell Flop, I like him. I might try to bring him back, but I'm not gonna think about it. Same thing here with Daniel Bellinger. These are two depth players, but I just don't see myself wanting to bring them back. Same thing here with Pinnock. Tremble for this price is just too expensive. Oh man. Belton here, not looking to do so. Same thing here with Fisher. We'll probably let him test. Josh Owuzu, same thing. Ben Cleveland. Yeah, Mike Hilton, not looking to bring him back. He could be a good fourth corner, but I just don't see myself. Thank you, James Conner, for all those highlights. That was fun with him. But all of these other guys at the bottom of the roster, the same thing here with Riley. I want to find someone else. So I left myself with a few players to decide on. Wan'Dale Robinson here, Nolan Smith, Tony Royal, Boogie Basham. And honestly, guys, I would like to keep Boogie. So this is so much. I think for a player like Boogie Basham, I'm gonna let him test, and we should be able to get him back. I hate this because he's an undrafted free agent and I have to pay him $4 million, but I'm not gonna do that. That's just not smart. Then for Nolan Smith, we don't have any of his, we don't have a mentor. We don't play, I guess, a 4-3. I thought we were playing a 4-3 scheme. But regardless, I just can't, I have to let him test as well. So that leaves Wan'Dale Robinson now. So this is where the argument can be made that I should go and make some cuts and try to get some money back, because we need as much as we can. I made some cuts, nothing significant to point out to you guys, no one above even like a 78 overall, but that only gave us back $3 million. For Wan'Dale, I would like to keep him, and for a number 2, maybe number 3 receiver, less than $10 million is good. So maybe a 3-year 25 leaves us go into open free agency with 31. Definitely would be able to get a corner, but the offensive line becomes a major question. Let's see if this works. And he denies this, so I'm not going to look to tag anyone. 34 million. Yeah, no. I'm not going to look to franchise tag anyone. So let's go to open free agency and have some fun. And here we are in open free agency, ladies and gentlemen. This is where we can really change up this roster. As I see players like Joe Tooney out there, Jameson Williams, Taylor Moton, Joel Batoni, Brian Robinson, he could be a solid back, Kendall Fuller. There's talent out here, but the first thing that I want to look at is the corner position. So Kendall Fuller, Christian Benford, and Kyle Gordon. These are 3 guys that I was definitely considering, but they're not what I am truly looking for at the position. This kind of hurts. Regardless, we should consider signing one of them, but it definitely hurts, and it makes me kind of maybe consider changing course, because my idea with the first round pick was taking the best player available. But do we now consider maybe trying to trade up for a corner? So that's unfortunate. Let's look at the offensive line. Let's look at the tackle. So you got Taylor Moton, who was my favorite tackle, And then there's a couple guys who have interest in coming here. But you also have Alex Kappa here. Could be a solid guard. Ryan Kelly is back in free agency. He could be a solid upgrade. But you got Joe Toney here. Joe Tooney. Joel Patoni. Two also very good offensive linemen. And some other solid guys. And at tackle, Dan Moore. Yeah, that is... that's tough. It's tough to see. There's a 26-year-old out here. So, and then let's turn now our attention to the offensive weapons. Really nothing here at the tight end position. So, what about receiver? Jameson Williams, Christian Watson, Wandale, he's still out there. Tyler Lockett, Lavius Chenault, a couple other solid options here. Cordell Johnson here. This is a fun one because this is a superstar 75 overall now. Second year wide receiver who went undrafted. I guess he did not re-sign with the Oakland Raiders. That's a spot where, again, I am not gonna. He is an excellent player. I don't know where did he go? This could be a quick, easy, cheap move, but I'm not gonna do that. How much is he wanting? $5 million. Again, I'm not. I think that's kind of breaking the system, in my opinion. So we have a 3 receiver decision if we wanted to try to maybe get into one of these 2 sweepstakes. But you also have Brian Robinson out there, Tyler Algier, Jermaine Ford, David Montgomery. Okay, so there's some running backs more that I like than others. That's good. More teams should offer to Brock Purdy than 5 in my eyes. What about the defensive line? No one here at the left end. I see Nolan Smith is getting some interest. DJ Reader at defensive tackle is the best option. That's kind of a hard pill to swallow. But Jermaine Johnson is out there. He would be a solid starter for some team, not for us. What about linebacker? Nick Bodie here, solid off-ball linebacker. Doesn't fit our scheme though. And Ian Pace here could be a solid run supporter, but again, I'm not looking to get an upgrade. I'm more looking for depth. So it's cool to see some new guys out there. Free safeties. This could be a fun option. Try to bring in the Honey Badger. He could be a fun player out there. Okay, so I'm gonna go out here, make some moves. It says that I have 1 target. I don't have any, so we only have 4 decisions to make before we can evaluate. Okay, guys, I got 3 targets, and that this might be our free agency class, and then we'll probably look to make some trades. But if we can get all 3 of these guys, I would be happy. Joe Tooney is the first and the best offensive lineman. In terms of availability, he's the 2nd best player as well. We're battling with the Saints. Hopefully we can get him. It would be a 1-year deal for the 33-year-old. Christian Branford here. Yes, Kendall Fuller is a better, well-rounded corner, but due to his age and it would be a 1-year deal, I like Branford a little bit better. 25 years old. He has the tackle ability. He can do everything that I would want from at least a number 2 corner, with Drew Phillips again being our number 1 guy. And I want to keep the band back. I want to keep the band together at receiver the best that I can. And sure, Jameson Williams would be a fun player, but expensive. And I honestly don't like his route running at his overall. It's, again, he's more focused on his athletic ability and his speed. Not something that I think that we really need to be kind of focusing in on. And then Christian Watson here, again, he's not a polished route runner, not great at release. He's the same type. He's just a deep threat. We don't need that. We need Wandale. Not really, but not in the sense of not really, but more like we have the Wandale's replacement, but I think that keeping him, he has good hands. So we have 3 players. This would leave us with $2 million. So this could potentially be it for free agency. 2 decisions have been made, and we got, thankfully, Christian Branford. No Joe Thuney, though. But we got Anthony Branford. He will come in here and be at least our number 2 corner, or one of the guys on the outside. But I think that Branford is solid. He's not great, but he can be a solid piece. Coming off of no interceptions, though, but it's only $6 million. It's not that expensive. And also, I like his height at 6'1". So, but Joe Thuney decides to go to the New Orleans Saints. And now, kind of have to switch gears here, and quickly. Because right now, Wandale is getting some interest from other teams. I'm not going to look to adjust his contract. And right now, it looks like Taylor Moton is the best lineman, but he's going to be the most difficult. We could consider going after Joe Batoni here, but now he has a lot of interest as well. What about Ryan Kelly? He also has a lot of interest as well, and those are the best linemen available. But I'm going to take a shot here with Taylor Moton and try to bring him in. Okay, I put together a deal. It's a 2-year over $40 million. It's an expensive one, but we need to upgrade on our offensive line. 2 decisions have been made, and we got Taylor Moton, and we brought back Wandale Robinson. So we helped out the offensive line, maybe downgrading a little bit from Garrett Bowles. For Taylor Moton, he's an excellent pass pro. He's still a top 11 right tackle, at least in the league. So I don't think, just because we might have spent a little too much money on him, I don't think that it's that much of an overpay. We should have a solid tackle for the next 2 seasons. And then for Wandale, hey, we were gonna go into a season with a lot of questions, and I just could not see myself not wanting to deal with that Wandale, who had almost 80 catches, 900 yards, and 13 scores. You know, he just has to be able to make some more big plays, and his contract is right around $7 to $8 million. So once we can move off of Daniel Jones, and maybe we do it now, I'm content with those moves. But let's look around the league. Brock Purdy going to Denver. Wow. So no more Bo Nix. That's interesting. For Joel Thuney here, he's going to the Saints. We saw that the Colts added a weapon. Joel Batoni goes to the Cardinals. And Kendall Fuller to the Panthers. The Patriots bring in Christian Watson. Seeing some other solid players. Let's see if there's any of our own. Cordell Johnson goes to the Seahawks. So that's cool. We see Kenny Pickett going to the Jets. He gets a 4-year, $40 million. Jesus fucking Christ. Daniel Bellinger going to Seattle as well. So I haven't seen really any other players of ours going. So that's a good sight to see. So this kind of now raises the question, do I look to trade Banks and Hyatt or anyone else now? And a deal has been made. We're sending Jalen Hyatt to get Jonathan Cooper and acquire a 3rd round pick. And now this is important, guys. This is the 74th overall pick. But now we're entering into this draft class with no 2nd or 3rd round pick. We just got that. Sending Hyatt to the Broncos, giving them a solid number 3 wide receiver. I think that was a very fair trade for both teams. And we were more interested in, what's his name, in the 3rd round pick than Cooper. But with the addition of Cooper now, we give ourselves a third edge rusher. Cooper is, 28 years old. Good power moves, good finesse moves. He will be playing on the defensive line, so I will change his position. As well as he is not expensive at all. Cooper is right now only $1.5 million to the salary cap. And yeah, he's not expensive at all because I don't think that we'll get Nolan Smith or Boogie Basham to come back, maybe during the preseason action. But I will see if I can make another trade. I can't guarantee it. And another deal has been made here for the Giants, moving off of Daniel Jones, sending him to the San Francisco 49ers for a 4th and a 6th round pick. Now we have 2 4s and 2 6s. We have now acquired 3 picks as we were already going into a draft with only 5. So I'm trying to maybe get more depth on this team. And I just don't think that Daniel Jones is really worth keeping around anymore. It also now gives us back $11 million. So we still could potentially make a move here or there, but I think I'm going to now send him to the next week. Maybe I'm going to look for another trade potentially, but for right now, I can't guarantee it. And another trade has been done here. We've acquired another 6th round pick and another 7th round pick. So we have a lot of 6th and 7th round picks now. But we also got Mike Evans here. Now, Evans is not the same player as he once was. He's a 78 overall. He doesn't have a 90 speed, but they very much needed John Runyon, and that's really the reason they got this trade done. And they got Trey Tucker, a young receiver who can replace Evans quickly, and Eric Gray, who's a solid runner. So I think that was a fair trade, and that will be officially my last trade. We got 5 picks, made a bunch of moves. So let's sim to the next week. We did also now save some money, so I'm going to go try to maybe sign another player or 2. Okay, I'm going to target 3 more players here in free agency, and that's David Montgomery, Darnell Palmer, and Jameis Winston, excuse me, Jesus Christ. 3 guys. I want to try to get an upgrade at running back. Palmer would be a solid depth piece on the offensive line, and Winston mostly for the mentor tag. So 3 guys, let's evaluate real quick. No decisions have been made, so let's now turn our attention here to the draft. And here's the current landscape of the draft here. Pete Ballmer here is projected to be the #1 player off the board. He has 4.4 speed at 6'5". He's potentially could be the next Calvin Johnson. Raphael Freeman here, good pass rusher. Preston Longwell, the best quarterback. We see Larry Reed here, who is on my board, a top 5 projected player, or talent, excuse me. Solid speed, but he can cover. He can cover, tackle. He can do everything. He's the true #1 corner in this class. Another player that I like is Keon Edwards here. Excellent linebacker. Probably another guy that we can't get. Here's another corner. So Christian Arkham here. Good man-to-man cover corner. I did focus primarily on the corners in this draft. So let's just go through my favorites here. Start some of the players I've already highlighted here. There's a 1st round running back in Jake Fisher here. Got a couple pass rushers that I really like. Talked about Edwards a little bit. Edwards could potentially be a fun player if we could get him. Got another, we talked about that, top 5 talent. Some offensive linemen as well. A safety is good in this class. Greg Binns has kind of become quietly my favorite corner. That A-zone coverage, and he's the fastest. So I think he could handle eventually press. So, but in terms of talent grades that I do know, we have a bunch. 2 top 5 guys, and then a good amount of first round picks. A couple corners, more corners than offense, mostly corners really. Couple linemen in this class that are also solid, but Larry Reed is by far the best corner out there. I don't know what we're gonna really do with this draft class, but let's get into it. And a quick little free agency recap here. We got Taylor Moton, the big free agent acquisition, with David Montgomery, Christian Branford, brought back Wandale, Palmer, good guard option, and Jameis Winston as the new backup, bringing us into right around $8 million. Potentially could fluctuate due to the draft if I decide to keep all the picks. But I do think that it was a solid free agency for us. I mean, you know, I do think that entering into this class, we have a little bit more clarity across the board. Let's just generate the best lineup real quick. I mean, we brought in a solid, you know, to a Hall of Fame receiver in Mike Evans here. So first of all, that you guys should be excited about. And he can play on the outside. He can become our number 2 receiver. We brought him in. We brought back Wandale. We still have John Ware. We moved off of Hyatt. You know, we brought in David Montgomery, so this backfield is a lot better. Now, the guard position is still a question. Of course, Evan Neal would be a starter. Palmer kind of just was brought in now to become a starter between him or Branford or Oliver. But Taylor Moton comes in here to hopefully solidify the tackle position. I do think the team has improved a little bit at least. In terms of the secondary, did not get the number 1 corner that I was looking for, but Benford here could be a solid outside guy, probably our best. Phillips in the slot, and then Banks potentially could be traded in this draft class. Who knows? Linebacker, we have yet to address, but I think that will be most likely the class. And then depth across the defensive line. So, you know, due to all of our trades and stuff, we have now 10 first round, or 10, we have 10 picks now. We accumulated 5 more, all from rounds 3 to 7. But now we have to sit back here and think about these private workouts here. You know, we have to consider what are positional groups that we should consider, you know, in terms of offensive line, maybe, you know, trying to get some more information on them. Maybe another pass rusher. We don't have 100% on anyone. Maybe another linebacker. We know everyone in terms of corner. I also have a kicker and punter, so hopefully I can get one of those guys. But I think I gotta focus more on the lines, trying to just get a couple more players to 100%. So our 3 focus scouting players will be Johnny Robinson, a tight end, Heath Bass, our projected pick at 20, and Alfonso Kidd, a pass rusher. All 3 guys, I think, are solid prospects that I would like to get more information on, potentially in the second round, but maybe try to move up a couple times, or at least once, just to show you guys who I'm targeting here. You know, Johnny here, excellent in run blocking as well. Excellent tight end. He would be a fun prospect to potentially bring in. Maybe we trade up in the late second round if he has first round grade. Heath Bass here, I mean, currently just wanting to know what his pass blocking is. If it's a D, it's kind of like he's out for me. We're projected him, so, you know, just kind of want to get some information on him. And Alfonso Kidd here, you know, A, finesse moves, B, tackling. I know that, but I want to kind of get him more information, see if he's truly that much of an injury-prone player, because he could be potentially a guy that falls. So, yeah, let's get to the draft now. We have 10 picks to work with, so most likely a couple more trades coming. And the 2026 NFL Draft is underway. The Atlanta Falcons have the first pick. The Patriots have the second. Washington at 3. Let's just now look for our division rivals. Where are the Cowboys? They are picking at 28 as the Eagles pick 32nd. So we'll go pick by pick. Trying to make this go process pretty quick. I'm gonna keep an eye on the board. Maybe we'll trade up here in the first round. So with the first overall pick, the Falcons select. I'm not gonna watch all of these. They select Nate Belmer, wide receiver, projected #1 player in the class. And I think they got themselves a very good wideout, pairing him up with Drake London. As the Patriots go with another edge rusher, last year they drafted another pass rusher. And now they go back-to-back years. Evan Stevens. This is a very good pass rushing class with a solid corner as well. And the quarterback, Preston Longwell, going to the Las Vegas Raiders. So they take the first quarterback. I think he was the best in the class. As at number 5, the player that I was considering trading up, but I just didn't want to trade into the top 10, was Larry Reed. Larry was, in my eyes, could have been our #1 guy moving forward. But the Rams steal him as the Titans get Campbell here, Tyrell Campbell, another pass rusher, and here comes the second corner, Christian Arkham here, the other top 5 corner in this class. So we missed out on both of them, and now, again, I wasn't looking to trade into the top 10. Another edge rusher gets off the board. The Saints continue the trend. So it's been, a wide receiver and a quarterback, and everything else has been pass rushers and corners. So, and that's the strength of this class. Here comes the first offensive lineman, Merlin Simmons, as we now enter into the teens. Tevin Hall here, and now the Cleveland Browns are on the clock, and let's look at the board here. Is there anyone that's like intriguing here in the first round? So Alfonso Kidd, we know he's a first to a second round pick. I have yet to see the tackle. Bass is a third to a fourth, so I'm happy I did that. I would say in terms of players that I know the talent grade on, I don't know why it does this. George Binns, I don't think I need to move up for. It really kind of becomes, oh wow, Johnny here, he's a first round grade. I think it becomes the linebacker. If Keon Edwards, if he's still on the board, he is. He's not on my favorites for some reason, but Keon Edwards here could be our long-term option. If I was gonna trade up, I would have. I wanted to trade up for a corner. I just don't see myself wanting to do this anymore. Yeah, I think we're gonna stay at 20 here. I like Edwards a lot. I feel like he's going to be a very good player, but I just don't think it's worth it trying to get basically a 4th linebacker on the team. So we'll let this draft go. We'll stay pat here as the first linebacker goes at 12. As the Texans take Keon Edwards here at 15. And we'll take a look at his ratings. Same thing with the corners. Justin goes here at 16. A few more picks until us. There goes George Binns. Oh, man. That is not a sight that I wanted to see. He was kind of my guy here at 20, and the Steelers stole him from us. We have one more pick before us, and Alfonso Kidd goes. Wow. So now we're on the clock here. Oh, my. And I don't know what to do here. I'm not thinking quarterback, obviously. Could we go running back? Zach Fisher's on the board. He is my favorite back. Not thinking receiver. We could go with the sure thing here with Johnny Robinson. With a lot of A's across the board. Oh, my. Ow. He has A's across the board. Am I gonna take a massive leap here and draft Johnny Robinson? Oh my. We could get a tackle. That could be a spot. Man, I'm not in love with the tackle position. Pass rushing, there's really only one guy left that I'm kind of liking. I don't think I'm drafting a linebacker here. And then corner, there are some options, but there's also guys in the later rounds, it looks like, as well. Man, this is... Do we take Demetrius Evans here? Could Evans be our corner? This is interesting. He is the fastest. He would have to play in the slot, though. And that's where Phillips plays. This is... Okay, so this kind of becomes now... Who do I think is better between Evans and, in my eyes, Johnny Robinson here. 6'5", 258 pounds. Currently, though, let's look at the depth chart here. Currently, though, we don't have a number 2 tight end, and that could, we could in reality have an excellent duo here with 2 young tight ends. If we go with the safety, move him basically to corner, we have Phillips and Benford here on the outside. And then we also have the rookie corner playing on the inside. Banks becomes our 4th corner. Where should we go? I don't see myself being able to make a trade that I could potentially get these 2 players by trading back. I think I need to take one now, and that's Demetrius Evans here. He's the highest player on the current big board, and I just can't pass up on him. I like the idea of him playing potentially in the slot, and I think that, you know, drafting him, you know, helps the secondary. We got one guy, we brought in another here. So Demetrius Evans here. We go back-to-back seasons drafting safeties, but I'm hoping that Evans can potentially be a slot guy for us. He's a top 10 talent, A+. Can be trusted in zone coverage, fast on tape, cool. 91 speed, which is excellent. Hidden development as well. This is huge, because the other thing to consider here is maybe Parks is a better slot safety. Evans kind of gives us that versatility, and I like that. So really my next guy is Johnny Robinson that I really want to go get, but I'm not going to look to trade back up into the first round. We need to get into the second round here, as 2 solid players go off the board. Zach Fisher and Clyde Woods go, or Clay Woods. Another tackle goes, so now the offensive linemen are going, which I'm surprisingly not targeting. Linebacker goes. I usually like to draft offensive linemen. There goes the first center to Cincinnati. Dallas drafts another wide receiver. They needed someone to pair up with CeeDee Lamb. Ravens go defensive tackle. Aiden Matthews goes at safety. And then... Oh, shit. What the fuck did I hit? Guys, somehow, some way, I decide I have no idea. Wow. I basically just simmed ahead. That is the stupidest thing I've ever done, but we have to roll with it now. No going back, guys. So we have all of our picks still, which I just did not want to do. Oh my God. So here we are, the third round, ladies and gentlemen. Fucking hell. Okay, so we could draft an offensive lineman here. Darnell Randall. Justin Jeffries, receiver. We lost. I'm so upset that we lost out on the tight end. Will Costello here at tight end could be a fun player to take. He was my second favorite option. Perry Sweat here. I think that's a little too early. Third round, we gotta remember that. Not thinking receiver. Will is a candidate right now. Same thing here with Randall. We don't have a lot of guard depth, and it's not really time for that. So I think it's between taking a tackle right now, maybe a defensive tackle. Chris Jones, he is a guy that I like. Oh my God, I'm still beating myself up for that. Ruben Evans, get another corner. I'm so upset. And no, I just can't do it. I will draft a different tight end. I'm gonna go with Darnell Randall here. We need offensive line depth. He's a first round talent and kind of a stretch to take him, but he has hidden development. Okay. So I made a boneheaded decision by simulating ahead, but we still get a hidden dev offensive lineman. So maybe a future starting right tackle. God damn it. Simming ahead here to the second, or not the second, to the fourth round, as I wanted to. So with now we have a lot of selections. Truly, what direction do I want to go? I think I'm gonna try to take these 2 fourths, and unless I see a guy that I just can't pass on, I think I'm gonna take these 2 picks and trade them, and just try to get some type of value back for them. Sure, we could draft Ruben Evans here, but he's another slot archetype, and I just don't see myself doing that. So I think I'm gonna trade these 2 fourth round picks, try to get something for next year. I got a deal done here with the Jags, trading the 2 fourths for a 3rd round pick next year. So we're not gonna pick until the 5th round. As now we enter into the 5th round, we're looking at my favorites here. A few guys, we got a receiver, a couple wideouts, an offensive lineman, another safety, and a kicker and a punter. 2 guys I would like to get. So I think I'm gonna go off my board here because I like my players. I think out of position value, Eric Romeo here, he will be the pick here in the 5th round. He does have a cutscene, so that's cool. He is 180th. He's a good run blocker. 88 strength, can kind of move. Maybe it'd be a solid depth piece. One of our 6th round picks, we're gonna go with Matthew Young here. Just trying to accumulate some depth. And Young could potentially be a solid pass rusher. Taking a linebacker now in Steve Taylor. Just again, trying to get some depth, and he does not look good. And with our last 6th round pick, we're gonna draft Jamie Davis, another safety. Okay, pick 1010. Hidden development as well. Okay, so we got 2 hidden development safeties. He has good speed, he has good acceleration, kind of a raw talent. But we got him here in the 6th round, as we've just kind of accumulated a lot of depth. We have 2 more picks to go, and one of them will be a kicker. So here will be the kicker, 100%. I don't even want to think about it. Richie Stranger will be the selection here, and I'm hoping that he could help me kick well. 7th? 7th? What? Okay. Hidden development kicker. I'm great at drafting kickers, apparently. Hidden development as well. Okay, Rich. Let's hope we don't screw him up. One more pick to make here, as we have the 226 pick. I'm still very much beating myself up for, you know, the miscue. I must have hit a button wrong. I don't know. Titus Allen here will be the pick here. I don't know. I just wanted to draft one of the 2 receivers. So we ended the class maybe getting another solid wide out, you know. We ended the draft with a wide receiver. We got a lot of depth. Not really the draft that I wanted. Not at all. But you gotta take the punches, I guess. So let's see how well I did. I wanted to trade up, I just couldn't because I'm an idiot. But Demetrius Evans here's a 77 overall hybrid cover safety, 74 coverage or 74 zone, 76 man. I mean, Demetrius here, he has a legitimate chance to become our starting safety if he really plays his cards right. But I like that pick. Darnell Randall here, kind of had to adjust. Hidden development offensive lineman. Hey, he is good across the board. Give him a season to develop. Give him, you know, a year or two. I think we just found our future right tackle. Eric Romeo is 60 or 76 overall. Another solid depth player. Nothing jumps off the board with him, but happy about that. Matthew Young, a 66 overall, and yeah, 75 power moves, you know, 85 strength. He's a raw talent. I don't mind that selection. I don't know how much of the field he will see, but we'll see. Stephen Taylor, probably my least favorite selection, but 66 zone coverage is not bad to start off with. So it's not terrible. And then Jamie Davis, a 70 overall. Hidden dev, another hidden development safety. 99 hit power. Okay. How tall is he? 6'3", 229 pounds? Could Jamie Davis here be actually a better inside linebacker with that hit power? He doesn't have the speed to play safety, but he has the speed to play linebacker. That's intriguing right there. We already knew we got a 99 rating with Richie Stranger here, but you know, still 77 overall, top 10, definitely a top 10 player in the class, I guess. So we have an excellent kicker now. And then finally, we finish out with a 68 overall receiver, Titus Allen here. Hey, he has some skill sets. He could potentially become an outside threat. He has that 80 release already. Give him a season or two. But I made a mishap during the draft. I skipped ahead when I didn't want to. So where were we, give or take? We were just about to end the first round as the Eagles took the defensive tackle. I am gonna look for the Rams drafted a quarterback. I want to see where that tight end landed because I was so intrigued with him. And why can't I find him right now? Did he make it into the third round? Don't tell me that. Okay, where is he? Did I just miss him? I did. 76 overall, beginning of the third round. He would have been so much fun to start with. Hidden development, tight end. Oh my god, I'm beating myself up. because I would have traded we basically would have had either Robinson or Randall, and I would have preferred to have Robinson. That sucks. Well, okay, so let's look that I'm depressed. So first overall pick, Pete Tier is an 82 overall. Larry Reed, a guy that I considered trading up for, he's an 81. Again, beating myself off of that. Christian Arkham here could have been a solid cover corner. But, you know, we did draft a kicker here. We did draft Demetrius Evans here. So we did get 2 players in the top 10. And, you know, there's a few other guys. Here's Edwards here, a guy that I considered moving up for in the first round. And he would have been a fun day 1 linebacker to have. But I do think that, you know, I think we're in a solid spot there. Let's now turn our attention here to our competitors, our division rivals. Evan Stevens here and George Lewis, but they also drafted Tommy Burgess. So they drafted 2 safeties and a linebacker or pass rusher. Yeah, the Commanders had a solid draft. I don't know why they drafted 2 safeties in back-to-back selections, but they're, you know, good players, so good for them. The Cowboys drafted a receiver, a corner, and another receiver, so they help out Dak Prescott in his later half, drafting 3 wideouts. But Carlos Dotson, he's their newest addition. And yeah, solid receiver. He'll be their number 2 for probably a bit. And then the Super Bowl champs, Philadelphia. What did the Eagles do? They drafted Lamont Toon here, defensive tackle, helping out their front 4 that's already dominant. So that's annoying to deal with even more. Drafted a quarterback, Ryan McLeod here, a scrambling archetype. Interesting. I think he was my favorite quarterback in this class. And yeah, he's a solid backup quarterback. Good for them, but I don't know why they would draft him in the 2nd round. Curtis Ward and Stephen Cullen, 2 more 70 plus. They had a good draft class too. No one below a 65. My God. I don't remember who else or where else people went that I liked. I think the last player is George Binns and kid that I want to look at. So George Binns here went to the Pittsburgh Steelers, 76. Normal development. Yeah, I'm happy that I didn't decided to trade up for him. And for the other player in Kidd, who went before us, I was considering taking him here, trying to get just an excellent 3rd edge rusher, and he would have kind of fit that mold for us. 80 finesse moves to start off is excellent, so good job there for the Lions, pairing him up with what's his name? Aiden Hutchinson. So yeah, guys, besides that mishap, what do you think of the offseason? We made a lot of moves. A lot of changes are currently happening to the roster. But we made a lot of moves and a lot of new faces across the board. But we helped out this team. I think we gave John Sherman more weapons. Bringing in Montgomery, Mike Evans. We still have Tank Big B comes up from the practice squad. You have a lot of weapons here now, John. The offensive line, in my opinion, kind of got worse because I decided to trade away John Runyon. Maybe in hindsight, I shouldn't have done that. But who did we get for? Oh, we got a 3rd round pick. We got Randall. That's who we basically got for John Runyon. So, I mean, I guess that's a pretty fair trade. But we do need depth on this team. Defensively, Ben Ford, I do think that we improved our secondary. Maybe not an established number 1 corner, but I do think that we improved it. And then yeah, I think we didn't. Yes, yes, we didn't get our number one corner. We did hit a good tackle, but we didn't help out the guard position. But we got ourselves a solid running back and a solid receiver in Mike Evans. We didn't get ourselves a tight end. And we drafted a very interesting safety. I would sit here and say that this offseason was overall a average to below average offseason. I do think that there could have been more things I could have done differently. Let me know down below. I'm now gonna go probably sign some undrafted free agents and do all of that fun stuff. But yeah, guys, what do you think of the offseason? Let me know down below your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the preseason. This will be a lot of fun here entering into year 3. I hope you guys are excited, because I am. Let's go have some fun, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day.